Hello, my name is Sammy Bradar, Associate Group Editor for the National Provisioner. I'm here today with Parlor Doughnuts Chief Growth Officer Justin Riat to discuss the company's new Savory Doughnuts. Justin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having us, Sammy. Thank you very much. Excited to talk about it.
Absolutely. So this Savory Doughnuts line is debuting in 6 varieties, including margarita, pepperoni, pig and fig, chicken bacon ranch, Hawaiian barbecue chicken, and buffalo chicken. So, Justin, what inspired Parlor Doughnuts to introduce this line, and how does it reflect current consumer trends in this sweet, savory crossover space?
That's a great question, Sammy. I think what inspired us is we're an innovative company. It's in our bylaws. It's who we are. It's how we got to where we are, even on the sweet side. And so innovation is just something that we do. It's something we stand on. It's important to us that we value. And in fact, we even brought on a full-time innovation, culinary innovation director here very recently. And so, but with savory in particular, it's something that we consider ourselves a disruptor in ways in the donut market. It's something we say a lot around here. And when we look at some of the trends and micro meals and shareables and things like that are trending currently, and we also look at the day part, as you can imagine, most many donut shops are breakfast focused or even dessert focused, at least the mindset of the consumer. And we thought, man, what an interesting idea with our buttery and flaky dough, like our base, the base of many of our donuts is a savory base to begin with. That why not explore that counterpart or that day part? And within that, we also had many franchise partners. So we have the best franchise partners in the country, and many of them love to explore and give us ideas and think about things that they may come up with. And we've been tabling some of those for a bit, and we finally decided, hey, why not? And our CEO actually was the one. He woke up with it and just decided to just dive in with it one day and just figured it out. And turns out I was actually sitting downstairs one day in our parlor, which we have an office building in downtown Evansville, Indiana. And below that, we have a full functioning coffee shop and donut shop. And he brought him over there, and I tried the buffalo chicken and was blown away with it. And so the moment I tried it, I knew we had something.
Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, sometimes the greatest ideas just come to you and you roll with
Yeah.
it. So that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Justin, what makes these savory donuts unique, and how are they designed to appeal to these consumers who are exploring new flavor profiles?
I think what makes them unique, the first 6 that we came out with, we wanted to, there's a mindset there around donuts, and we wanted to break through that mindset around what is a savory donut, because you automatically, when you hear donuts, you go sweet. So we went to something that was safe, and many of the toppings, we don't like to say the word, but the word you're thinking of when you see it, we don't say that around here, but many of the toppings you're familiar with. And so if you look at the visual aspect of many of the first 6 flavors we came up with, you can see yourself in it, and you can see that flavor speak to you. And so we wanted to at first break down that barrier as to what a savory donut is and allow people to kind of visualize what that might taste like. But then also within our signature, like I mentioned, within our signature layered dough, the foundation of it's flaky, it's buttery to begin with. And we figured we'd take that and we put chef inspired savory ingredients on top of it. That would lead to an exciting experience for our guests.
Absolutely. When I was reviewing the initial lineup, I was surprised because when you hear something like this, you typically hear maple bacon or something that's a little bit more familiar. So this is just really interesting and definitely stands out from the traditional innovation.
Yeah,
Justin,
and it's also it's trending as well. Just the bacon inspired partnerships or collaborations, the hot honey, things like that you see on savory items, and so it's definitely trending. But then we had the maple bacon, which our maple bacon is really, really good, house made bacon every morning. And so but so why not go from there and try a chicken bacon ranch or a buffalo chicken or the OG pepperoni. And so
yeah, it's a natural extension almost of what's already there.
Yeah, we like to think so, right? We like to think so.
Absolutely. Justin, how do you ensure that these flavor profiles remain bold and satisfying while still delivering that texture and indulgence consumers expect from a donut?
So it's interesting. Being intentional about innovation and being intentional about bringing a full-time candidate in, a culinary director of culinary innovation in, that wakes up every day thinking about that as part of the equation. I think that when we view the texture of our donut, having that base, and we base it with a savory crust. It's a flaky crust that has a Parmesan and Italian seasoning blend that it's rolled in. It just really, really pairs really, really well with the experience of eating a donut of our tip. Or say a donut, our donut, and it also pairs really, really well with the savory toppings.
It's
And
great.
not to mention, we test relentlessly. So you can imagine everything that you see that worked. There's a dozen of each flavor that didn't work, and so by that constant testing, we had partnered with 10% of our shops across the country to offer testing for many, many weeks or months leading up to this. Had countless surveys that we had done through our guest surveys, and so we had great feedback and leading into the launch.
Absolutely. That's great. That's great that you were able to test it in different markets before the official rollout. So that's good to have that positive reception.
Yeah, it was important. It was important to us for a myriad of reasons, as you can imagine. One, that if we're launching it to our franchise partners, we wanted to make sure that we had vetted the process and that we understood what we were asking them to do. But then also just to get feedback, invaluable feedback from our consumer, for our guests, even as to what we call them. Like, we had even explored, what do we call these? Do we call them something besides a savory donut? Do we call some sort of name that's outside of the realm that may help them understand what it is? But ultimately, because of our feedback and because of the surveys, because of the experience with our franchise partners, we decided to launch them as Savory Doughnuts.
That's great. And I know this launch is very recent, but based off of that initial testing, what was the consumer response to the donuts?
Overwhelmingly positive, 99% positive. And we had hundreds of surveys that we got back from our guests, which is another thing. They wanted to participate. We didn't incentivize them to participate, but they wanted to participate and tell us how they felt about it. And overwhelmingly positive, everything from the price point to the flavor profiles to even the name, like I said, which I mentioned earlier. All in all, the consumer and the guest told us this is something that they, once they had it, they wanted more of it. And regardless of what they thought, they were willing to try it, which I think we see in our consumer base anyways, because our donut itself is something unique that you have to go and then try something new. And even to the point of a lot of the marketing efforts we do now with our First Bite campaign, our donuts are very impactful. And that was represented on the same side of the savory side. Once people tried it, and we had a lot of visual demonstrations within the shop that allowed people to see the product. We actually offer real product as demonstration on top of our display case now, to allow people to see the product and understand what it is they're ordering. But once they order it and they have their first bite, the response is overwhelmingly positive.
That's great. That's great to hear and have that reassurance that you guys are on the right path.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Well, Justin, this is my last question for you, but how do you see savory donuts shaping broader trends in the donut category or influencing new product development in this space?
We see it changing the game. We see it disrupting the market. We see it being a major evolution in the donut category. And if nothing else, for the day part that it serves. We are a coffee shop as well. You go into we have very impactful donut products, but then the vibe and feel is a coffee shop feel. And within that, we have high-end coffees, espresso machines. We have well-trained baristas. And so we offer an experience there for the afternoon. And within donut shops that don't offer that, the savory evolution or the disruption, if you will, gives people another reason to think about that space and to visit, or even, because you can only eat donuts so many times for breakfast, right? But for the lunch and dinner part, it seems that people are much more willing to eat out and to dine in, or to a fast casual type of restaurant. And so we see it disrupting the market in a lot of positive ways. And many of our competitors, I say many, several of our competitors have come with others. So you see some donut shops offering pizza. You can look those up. There's others that have kolaches. And so others are trying to do this. And we feel like this is a great way that, in a unique way, because of our dough, that we have a great opportunity.
Absolutely. And it plays on so many consumer trends. You know, people are leaning, some consumers who are especially using GLP-1s, prioritizing
Yeah.
nutrition, things like that. They're looking to up their protein. They're looking away from sweet, more towards savory.
Yeah.
Handheld formats are doing well. So, you know, this is a really interesting innovation. I'm interested to see how it will influence the market.
Yeah.
Justin, is there anything else about Parlor Doughnuts or this new line that you'd like to share with the Provisioner audience?
No, I think that if you haven't tried it, come try it because it's if you haven't looked us up online, check out with the visuals on the savory product. You'll understand really quick what it tastes like. So we're just excited. We have an incredible customer base, really, really loyal fans, almost fanatical, as you said yourself. You have one close to your home, and we're excited for people to get in and try it.
Absolutely. Well, Justin, thank you so much for sitting down with me today to talk about this new Savory Donuts innovation. I really appreciate it, and I know our audience will benefit from these insights.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Sammy.